Onboard battery chargers for your boat are really cool, but they are super, super expensive. If you got money like that, by all means go for it. So what has two thumbs and can't afford an onboard charger? This guy. What if there was the next best thing to an onboard charger that was around like 30 bucks? Now you interested? We'll go dump all the pennies out of your piggy bank and let's send it. So the whole appeal of an onboard charger is you grab your extension cord, plug it up to your boat, and it just starts charging. You don't have to think about it. It's there. It works. That's great. And I want that functionality. I want to be able to just walk up to my boat and plug in and it just automatically start charging, kind of like I just did. And my goal for this project was to do everything that an onboard charger does, but without the expense of an onboard charger, because if you get a good quality one, they can be quite expensive. And if you need multiple banks, that price goes up. You could be paying $100, $200, even $300 or more dollars for a quality onboard charger for your boat. I 100% understand that you pay for quality, you get quality. No arguing there. But I am what you would consider balling on a budget and pimping on pennies. I just don't have the luxury of spending that kind of money on a battery charger for this boat. But if I was to get a cheap charger, they usually require some kind of alligator clips, which mean I would have to crawl up underneath my deck because my batteries are back here. I would have to crawl underneath there, hook up the two alligator clips, or come up with some kind of quick connect system. And generally those chargers are low amp and don't charge the batteries very quick. So they got the cheap aspect, but the functionality and ease of use is not really there. So what I've come up with is a decent quality, budget-friendly charger that gives me the ease of access where I can just plug this thing into my boat. It gets charged, and then when I'm done, I can pull this charger off. The only thing that I'm really sacrificing in this setup is the charger itself is not going to be inside the boat, but it's small and compact enough to where it doesn't really bother me. I can store this in my boat if I want to, wrapped up in a dry bag, or I can just keep it in the garage, which is where I got to go to get an extension cord to run out to my boat anyways to charge the battery. So one extra step is not going to kill me. Now you can't just buy this setup and throw it on your boat. I did have to do some modifications to make this work, but it was pretty simple, and we're going to go through that in just a sec. For my particular application, I have lithium batteries underneath this deck. I have 2 of them. So I don't need something to be plugged up trickle charging all the time. They're lithiums, you charge them up. Once they're done charging, you take them off the charger and you leave them until they need to be charged again. One of the other reasons I wanted to start this project and go this route is because if I had an expensive $200 or $300 onboard charger and something were to happen to, like let's just say it quit working or it quit powering on and it was out of warranty, well now I have to go buy another $200 or $300 onboard charger. This one was less than $25. $25 is a lot easier for me to handle than $200 or $300. So let me show you how I made this contraption. So for the charger itself, this is one I found on Amazon. I think I paid less than 25 bucks for it. There's several different manufacturers that make this. They are cheap. They are made in China, but they had a ton of reviews on Amazon. Everybody seemed to like them, and they're super affordable, but they do lead acid batteries, AGM, lithium, LiPo 4, All of that is completely safe. And one really cool feature that I like about it is it does 12 and 24 volt batteries. Not only is it budget friendly, it will charge at 10 amps, which is a lot compared to even like the cheapest no-code charger that they sell for around 30 bucks that only does 2 amps. Now, when you get it, it's going to come with these little alligator clips on it. And I had these for about a year, and I was getting underneath my deck and clamping these on, and I just got tired of it, which is what drove me to want to do this modification in the first place. But really all we have to do to make this work in our scenario is cut these alligator clips off and put on one of these quick connects that'll attach to that quick connect port on our boat. So it's a fairly simple process. I'm just going to cut these off right here, get rid of those. I'm going to strip this wire back a pretty decent ways because these wires are pretty thin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist them up, and then I'm going to fold it in half so that I can get a little bit more bite on my butt connector when I go to butt connect that here in just a second. Then we're just going to take the other end of our SAE connector, give that a good twist, go ahead and install our butt connectors on there. These butt connectors I'm using have heat shrink built into them. Not that I really need it because this thing's never going to be out in the rain, but it does give it a little bit nicer presentation once it is finished. Now, before I crimp these leads on, I'm going to put a big piece of heat shrink over all of this to cover up those butt connectors when I get done, for no other reason than it just looks pretty. And just because I'm on a budget here doesn't mean I can't make it look halfway decent. So now I'm going to let these wires relax in whichever way they naturally want to sit. So I got the positive on this side and the negative on this side. I'm going to make sure that I match that up so that the wires aren't twisted. And we'll go ahead and connect those. And just in case you're wondering, the proper torque spec for crimping on these is right there. You just need a little, that's it. And because this charger is made in the land of egg rolls and sweet and sour chicken, we're going to use our metric size heat gun. That way we can get this heat shrink all shrunk it down like it's supposed to be, make it look nice and pretty. And we'll slide our big heat shrink over the top. Make sure we're covering up our butt connectors, try to make this look halfway decent. And easy as that, we're done. So now I can plug both of these in, and I have run these on the same extension cord, which is probably highly underrated for this amp load, but I haven't caught anything on fire yet. Doesn't mean I won't at some point. And as soon as you plug them in, they turn on and start charging. This particular one is a pretty simple operation. It's just got one button on it, and when you hit the button, it'll go to the different mode. This is the repair mode for lead acid batteries. It's got a motorcycle battery charging option. It's got a standard car charging option, so if you wanted to use this on your car, you could. And then it's got an option for AGM, gel, wet cell, or lithium ion, lithium phosphate, LP4, all those types of batteries there. It does have a computer programming inside of it, and right now my batteries are reading at about 50%. So it's only pushing about 7 amps to them. Basically, when you're low charge, it gives 10 amps to try to get your charge up as high as it can, as quickly as possible. And then once it gets over 50%, it starts slowly dialing back the amperage so that you don't overcharge the battery. And these are smart chargers. They will turn off on a lithium battery when they're done charging. So if you need to leave these plugged in overnight while you're sleeping, not a big deal. You don't have to worry about it. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the battery charger mod. Would I love to have an onboard charger? Absolutely, that would be great. I don't want to spend that kind of money. This was cheap. I got like 60 bucks in both of these chargers. I probably could have gotten away with one charger, just let one battery charge and then hook it up to the other battery, or I could have split it and put the positive on one battery and negative on the other battery, charged them both at the same time. It just would have took longer. But I do like having the two chargers because I use the chargers for other things around the house. You can order extra of those SAE plugs and you can wire them up to your lawnmower, which is what I have done, so that I can charge up my lawnmower battery. If you wanted to wire up one of those SAE plugs to a couple of extra alligator clips, you could plug that in and use it to charge your car battery if your car ever goes dead. But overall, this project accomplished everything I wanted to. It was quick and easy to install. I don't have to get inside my boat anymore to charge some batteries. I saved some money, and the chargers serve me more than one purpose. I don't just have to leave the charger inside my boat because it's not an onboard charger. I can take it and go charge up other stuff. And even though the chargers are cheap and they're probably made in the same factory that fortune cookies are made, I've had them for a year and they've held up great, so I can't complain. I got a year out of them. If I make it a year or two and I got to replace one of the chargers, I'm out with 20, 25 bucks. You can't beat that when you're on a budget, so Cool. Put some haterade in your cup. It is time to see what Scooter has been up to. If you're not familiar with the Haters Corner, what we like to do at the end of every video is stand in a corner and see who was the most butthurt in the comments over the last couple videos that I've done. And because we know that people on the internet are super sensitive, we don't use their real name. We just call them Scooter. I got my cup filled up with haterade, so here we go. Our first Scooter left a comment and said, subscribe to your channel as I like long-tailed motors, but you talk way too much for me. Sorry, mate. Too painful for an Aussie. Well, Scooter, this is not an airport. There is no need to announce your departure. You can just go to the field and sit on. I get the comment a lot that I talk too much. I don't know what people expect me to do, because when I don't talk in my videos and I just put captions down at the bottom, they complain that I didn't talk to them about what I was doing. But then when I do talk, apparently I talk too much. Maybe I seriously need to consider doing my next how-to video on something really important and putting it in Braille. Speaking of blind people reading Braille, I can only imagine that the phrase "do not touch" must be like super alarming for someone to read in Braille. I've lost sleep over that one. But regardless, my dear Aussie Scooter, I sincerely hope that you have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night barefoot and you step on a Lego. Our next Scooter left a comment and said, good info, but damn, this kid talks way too damn much and thinks he is so sharp. More annoying than most. You know, Scooter, every person has a purpose in life. Your purpose was apparently to be an organ donor. And I'm almost a little bit flattered, or maybe I shouldn't be, that you called me a kid, because I am nowhere near the age of being a kid, and more like cleverly disguised as a responsible adult. But I tell you what I don't do as an adult. I don't get on the internet and leave comments on other people's videos and insult them. That's just me, though. Which reminds me of a very famous quote. And that quote says, never compare yourself to others. If you do so, you are only insulting yourself. And it's pretty hard. Now, granted, that quote was from Hitler, but I'm hoping that you can see the point and separate the art from the artist on that one. Our next Scooter left a comment. He wrote, I like fish on a stick. You know, this Scooter has only 2 brain cells, and they are both fighting for 3rd place. Like, what has to be going on in your life to be sitting there watching a YouTube video? I think this one was about I think it was a motor review video. He's sitting there watching it and says, I'm going to leave a comment that says, I like fish on a stick. And maybe he'll read it. Like, what in the world were you thinking? Because I can tell you exactly what I'm thinking when I read this comment. I'm thinking that if you take the letter C and the letter D in the word cookie dough and you flop them, you get dookie cough. If you didn't know that, now you do. You're welcome. And our honorable mention for the week, Scooter wrote, line stick, box, fortune cookie, something, 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 circle, square, emoji face. I'm really not sure what this is, but thanks to the old Googles, they got this little Google Translate thing, so I copied and pasted it into the old Google Translate, and it said that I got a comment in Japanese. So I don't think I've ever gotten a Japanese comment. This is pretty cool. Let's see what the Google says it is. Scooter Line Stick Box said, I'm curious about the weight of the boat. It feels very stable. Smiley emoji face. The flat feel of the interior is nice. Another smiley emoji face. The engine mounts look sturdy too. Well, thank you very much for the comment there, Jackie Chan Scooter. Curious about the weight of the boat. My boat with me in it is about 11 to 1,200 pounds. So there you go. Hope that answers your question. But I have a question for you, Jackie Chan. Is the YMCA a hard dance to do in Japanese? I don't know how you make a line stick box. You know, just something I've thought about. And in honor of the channel's very first Japanese comment, I feel that it is necessary I tell the only Japanese joke that I know. How can you tell if a Japanese woman is pregnant? You take a Rubik's Cube, you stick it up her front fanny. If the Rubik's Cube pops out solved, she's probably pregnant. I wish I had more Japanese jokes, but that's the only one I know. I do know an interesting fact about Japan, though. Did you know that the Japanese flag is actually a pie chart that shows you how much of Japan is Japan?